Well, today we're excited to welcome a rising voice in Christian music, Brook Abella. Brook is a passionate worshiper with a heart for ministry and a voice that speaks straight to your soul. Her brand new single, Well Done, is out now. Brook, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah. So we like to go to people's Instagrams and do some stalking, and we went way back on yours when you were a little child. I guess. Well, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay, so yeah, you were a little child. It was 2017, I believe, and you posted this Lion King part that you did in a play. Tell us about that. What character? I couldn't tell what character you were.
Yeah, so I actually did a lot of musical theater growing up, and specifically in that play, I was the lioness. I was one of, I don't know the exact name, it was so many years ago, but
Yeah.
I remember being able to sing that song up on that rock, and I just felt like it was so cool because that was like a defining moment for me. But I
Yeah.
also got to be Sharpay in High School Musical. I was Snoopy and Charlie Brown, Alice and Alice in Wonderland, so God really blessed me, and that's kind of where I developed my heart for performance and my kind of inability to get embarrassed, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So for those of our listeners and viewers who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you said you were in theater. How did you become an artist in the Christian realm?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a Christian all my life. I was raised going to the church. I remember being a little girl. I don't know how many years old I was, but I was a small, tiny girl, and I was sitting in the pews with my parents, and it was during praise and worship. And I just remember hearing the music and being like, oh my goodness, I have to dance. I have to sing. I have to dance. So I ran outside of the pew and I ran up to the altar to the front of the stage. I didn't know what the altar was at that time, but I just started dancing. And my mom and dad were horrified to begin with. So they were like, oh my gosh, get her back here. But then they started to realize that, God just really wanted to use me in a way that was going to minister to people through my voice and through performance and through being able to, just really entertain and connect with people through that way. So I grew up loving Jesus, always, I was a Bible quizzing, Bible studying, private Christian school girl. I haven't had my first kiss. There's been people that have tried, but, I really wanted to devote my life to Christ because that's what was most important for me. And my parents did a really good job of helping me figure that out early on. Same with my two older sisters. I got two twin sisters. They are about to be 24 years old. And then I have a loving mom and dad who are just awesome. But so they kind of raised me the right way. And I'm so thankful for that. But I started to, do all these theater things. I started to be involved in my local school plays and things like that. I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. I like doing this. My mom and dad started to notice as well. And so I came to them one day and I was like, I think I'd like to be on TV. And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, that's something that I think I'd be interested in. So they called and I got an agent. I actually ended up signing with a few different agencies and I started getting booked for commercials and for modeling gigs and for different, movies, Christian movies, because I didn't want to do anything that wasn't Christian. I was offered a role in Sharknado and I declined it because it was not good. And,
You would have gotten eaten anyway.
I know, exactly. Which I didn't know it was going to be like some crazy cult classic like it is now, but I still declined because I was like, no, that's not something that's uplifting, encouraging, and glorifying the Lord. So I said no. And I was a little girl doing these things, but I was modeling for the little girls brand called Justice, and I was doing commercials for, Nationwide, MDYs, Bob Evans, all these different things. I was in, my dad helped on the set of Courageous, and then I was in War Room, one of the most amazing Christian movies ever. And I really just got a lot of amazing opportunities that God was opening the doors to. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is God's called me in. This is it. And then behind my back, my mom would record me singing and she would send it into all these different contests because she wanted me to be a singer. But I was like, nah, I don't know. I can sing, but I'm an actress. And so she sent it into this Austin French and Jamie Grace contest, and I won both of them, and I had no idea. So she came to me one day after school and was like, Brooklyn, I entered you into these and you won. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And so I still was reluctant. I started writing songs when I was in 6th grade, and it just was a fun pastime for me to do. I like to say I'm a wordsmith, so I like to mess with words and see how I can rearrange them to make them interesting to listen to. And as time went on, I started being asked to be the worship leader. I started being like the token national anthem girl who would sing it for, all of the games. I started being, I started singing at my church for everything that we had, and then also at my school, and then also at local youth groups. And it was just like, whoa, God's opening all of these doors for singing and for me to, lift up his name through song. And I was like, okay, God, I hear you. I don't know. Is this the call? Is this what it is? And after some time, I brought some songs that I had written that were all about Jesus, all about Christ to my parents, and I was like, "Hey, these are something that I think are kind of cool. What do you think?" And through just some different connections and friendships that we'd had, our family knows Ben Calhoun from Citizen Way. And we kind of got, connected and stuff. And he was like, hey, I would love to produce her music. So I went down to Nashville and started to dip my toe into that. And then that's when things really started to take off, because he was like, wow, he was like, I would actually like to be in some of your songs as well. He was like, I think that, I could really help you here. So that's been such a blessing. God has really just moved in my life. It's been so exciting to become a vessel for him and to be able to use my words and my songs to get other people excited about Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently you were, I think we messaged back and forth a little bit at CMB, and you just did these like random, like little, like songs, duet things with Torin, and was it Josiah Queen? And so
I got to
that's
sing
pretty
with
sweet.
Weave. Oh, and I also got to sing for Toby Max. That was really cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, CMB was a great opportunity as well. I loved it because I got to be with all these just radio professionals and people that were, in the industry, which is amazing. And then I would just bump into different people at different times, and God just put me in the right places at the right times. And I was like, hey, actually, Josiah, you want to sing this song together? And so it was really such an awesome experience, because I got to be around so many people that, I've either grown up listening to, or like my number one song on Spotify, and, all those different things.
Yeah.
And now you have a new single, Well Done.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that song.
Yeah, so Well Done is very near and dear to my heart. It's a little bit different than some of my other music. I usually like to make music that's beachy and fun and hopeful, uplifting, very enthusiastic and optimistic, because that's what I am. And so Well Done was kind of a deeper dive for me. I had these two amazing great grandparents. I called them my Nana and my Gramps, and they were just the most amazing things. And growing up, being able to go over to their house was such a blessing, because I got to learn so much about Jesus just by, Nana's daycare or by talking with Gramps and stuff. And so growing up with them in my life was something that has really shaped me. And my Gramps was actually the first one in my lineage to believe in God. He was the first one to kind of be a pioneer in our faith. And he, heard about Christ, and he and my Nana got saved, and that just changed everything for us, because I don't know if I would be a Christian if they hadn't made that choice way back then. And so I wanted to talk about how they always lived their life in a way that was to hear the Lord say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And they were such an example for me, because they lived in that way. Everything that they did, they gave all their money that they had to people that were in need, any food, any resources. They would let people that, maybe they didn't even know super well, use their house as a safe place. And so being able to have that be a part of my family was something that was so inspiring for me. And I don't know, I looked up to them so much. And in their final days, my Gramps, the last thing that he did was sing with me. He praised with me. He sang, "Great is thy faithfulness." That was his favorite song. And he lifted up his voice. It was like with his final breaths, he was able to give glory to God. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want my life to look like this forever. And I want to help other people be able to live like this. So I wrote that song in memory of them, and being able to, lead the legacy that they gave, and to talk about just how good it's been to all of us, and how important it is to keep your eye fixed on him.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Brooke, this is a fan based podcast. And so we have fans all the time writing in questions to their favorite artist. And we had a fan of yours. And her
Oh.
name is Macy from Wisconsin. And she wants to know the story behind your song Promises,
Oh my
which, by
God.
the way, we love.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, hi, Macy. But Promises has to be one of my favorites so far. This one's super fun for me because, like I said, I'm a very optimistic person. I love, to tell everybody about Jesus. I like to, wake up with just a smile on my face, but that's not always the case every single day. Sometimes you can wake up like on the wrong side of the bed. You can feel a little blue because something might have happened, or, you have these things that are coming against you. And Satan, he does not give up. So he has like, these things that he's trying to come against you in. And it's talking about acknowledging that happens, and that you can have a rough day, but being able to just kind of like, shake it off your shoulders and give it to God and actively choose to give him the glory when you could have chosen to make it be a bad day. You could have chosen to be like, whatever, I'm not like, feeling it today, so it'll just be an off day. No, you should be using every single day that you have to glorify God, to remind other people of his promises and to know them for yourself too. I love studying God's promises and being able to be like, if I'm not having a great day, I can look through on my Bible app and I can be like, this is a promise that the Lord has given me. He is faithful, and he is going to give me these promises. And so being able to look through them just fills me with so much hope. And I love being able to fill other people with hope too, because I don't know, and being able to do it in such like a, fun, boppy like way is just, I don't know, it's my favorite. And so, yeah, for Promises, it's really just choosing to set aside what you might feel, and choosing to honor God with your day, and not let, a bad day give your life a bad outcome. You don't have to let that influence your everyday.
Now, you did a Spanish version of this song, right?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I do Spanish versions of most of my songs, not all of them. Like Well Done was not in Spanish, but most of them are in Spanish too, because I have Salvadorian roots. My dad's mom was from El Salvador, and I speak in both English and Spanish because I think that it's really important to me to be able to connect with people who don't speak English exactly. I want to learn sign language next. I want to just keep being able to minister to as many people as I can in as many languages as I can. My dad grew up speaking some Spanish because his mom only spoke Spanish. And then when she passed away when he was young, he kind of just like shut that memory off. He's like, okay, that's not something I'm going to have to use anymore. So I grew up and I was like, hey, I really want to learn. I want to do that. And he was like, no, it's okay. I won't teach you, kind of thing. Like, maybe not. And so I kind of just went around him and I learned it myself. I earned my seal of biliteracy, and, I started talking with him in Spanish, and that's kind of changed the situation for him. Now it's a happy memory. Now it's a connection that we can have, that we can sing my Spanish songs and stuff. And I love it because I'm able to reach so many people with the Spanish side as well. My Spanish version of Promises is actually doing really well in Mexico and Argentina and Chile. So it's so awesome to be able to see the impact that, being able to speak and sing in two languages having.
Yeah, my our other brother, the one that's not here tonight, he redheaded white dude, and he is fluent in Spanish.
Oh,
He married a woman from Monterrey, Mexico,
yeah.
and so when we're on the red carpet, like we ran into Danny Gogi, and Jesse just started speaking Spanish, and Danny was like, "What?" And Danny speaks Spanish too, and
Yeah.
then we talked to Blanca. And it was the same thing. This little white-headed or white redheaded dude, and he just starts speaking in Spanish, and it's people are thrown off by it because they're just like, "Wait a minute, you know Spanish?"
Oh, yeah, no, that's always funny.
So,
Jokey is always a hoot, and we had a similar situation too. I was able to go to the premiere of Unsung Hero, the red carpet premiere where the brothers were there and everything. It was so awesome. We got to be with all these amazing Christian film people, so that was so cool. But Danny Goki was there, and me and my dad just started speaking in Spanish to him. We had a good long conversation, and him and Evan Kraft are always super fun to be able to connect with, and that's so cool though that you got to talk to Blanca as well.
Yeah. So how has it been working with Ben with Citizen Way?
Yeah, it's been so great. It's been honestly a blessing to have somebody who is kind of been through it before. He's understands how the industry goes, and he can, like, help me. So like I'll bring a song. I write all of my songs all by myself, and I'm so excited about them. And I'm like, Ben, I got this song. I'm like so stoked about it. He's like, hey, this is great. Why don't we add like a little boo in here, or like a little bebop or something like that. He's always like adding like fun little things here and there just to give it a different touch. But working with him has really been great because I get to see a different side of the industry that I haven't, gotten near yet. And also I get to have him kind of help me, like, make good decisions. So I'm working with Devout, the music label, and they are awesome, but he's helping me get, like, my masters all to myself, and being able to, like, teach me the right ways to go about business deals, and to, be smart about the music that I do. Because, like, I was just messaging him earlier today, and I was telling him about this, and he was like, oh, that's so exciting. But also he was like helping me get ready for some gigs I have coming up. I'm actually going to be opening for the Afters coming this Labor Day, and I'm
Nice.
so excited to be able to do that. But I have some, other big things that I'm working on that God's just really blessed me with, and being able to have him as a resource has been amazing.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and so what does your writing process look like? Do you have like a bunch of voice memos on your phone, or is it little riffs that you hear and then you'll just like record it to then come back to? And
Yeah. So it kind of starts from a lot of different places. I love to read my Bible. I love to go through and like do as many, like, Bible readings as I can. I'll spend, like, every day I have to make sure I read my Bible, even if I don't want to, even if I'm tired. It's like, I'm going to push that aside, and it's important to me to spend this time with God and make it sacred, make it holy, keep a habit of it. It's always a good habit to read your Bible. And so sometimes when I'm reading, I will, be like, "Oh, that was good. That was good right there." So I have tons of hot pink highlights in my Bible of different things that I'm like, hey, this is something that's important to me, or that's important to my buddy. Or maybe, I feel like this girl could hear this right now. So I start to collect those ideas, and then it'll honestly be anywhere. Like, I was just in the airport the other day, and I was just thinking there was a beeping noise that was like, I don't even know how many feet away from me, but the way it was beeping was like such a funky tune that I recorded a little bit of it, and then, like, everybody who was around me was asleep because we were all waiting for our flight because it got delayed. So I just started, like, scatting into my phone, into my voice memos, and was just like, hey, I could turn this into a song. So it's just little things here and there. But when I'm actually writing my song, although I'm extroverted and I love being with people, I shut my room and nobody's allowed to go near my room. I get by myself and I get into just kind of like the mode by praying. I ask God to, use me, for me to be a vessel for him to, take my pen and my paper and just pour straight through me, have me not even get in the way. Whatever he's wanting to say, put it on paper. And so I ask that he, make that time holy. I ask that he push away any other thoughts, whether it be about what I want for dinner, or maybe, how my friend's doing or something like that. Push it away, not think about it, and just really hone in on Christ. After I've prayed and after I've, like, gotten into the right mindset, I start looking back at those Bible verses that I've saved. I'm like, okay, yes, this one kind of correlates with this one. Maybe I can cross-reference here, get a little Job in there, get a little bit of Gideon, different things here and there. And then I start, listening back to those, like, little scats, little bebops and stuff that I've done. And I start trying to correlate. I start trying to piece things together and really just work it out. And sometimes it only takes 15 minutes. Sometimes it takes an hour and a half. It really just depends on, when the Lord is moving through me and stuff. But yeah, so I start working through it and just work and work and work and try to get it. And then as soon as I think I have something set in stone, I start recording it on my phone, just like, a voice memo. And then I come to my family and I'm like, okay, fam, what do we think about this? Is this something that is, is it biblically sound? Obviously, first of all, because that's what's most important to me. Is it something that's uplifting? Is it, sharing the gospel? Is it vertical worship? What kind of thing is it? And so being able to have them help me has always been great, because I can have my mom give me input here, and then my dad's like, well, maybe this instead, and my sister can chime in. So my family is definitely a huge help in it. But from start to finish, I make sure that God's in the entire process.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Brooke, with our first time guests, we like to have some fun and we do a little thing called favorite things.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just give you a word and you tell us your favorite thing in that category. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. What is your favorite food?
Oh my goodness, sushi, hands down.
Sushi, nice.
Yeah,
Yes, we could eat. My wife and I and my kids. Well, my little girl, we can eat sushi all the time. We love it. So
I
good
think I was
stuff.
supposed to be born by the sea because I love fish way too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, I have like 5. I want to say La La Land.
Okay.
Yep. Love a good Ryan Gosling movie. I
Yeah.
love how the movie leaves you with a very open end. You don't know exactly what happened, and then it's also not the end that you were hoping for because
Yeah.
it's this like, in between space where you just have to deal with it. And, I love the music in that movie, but I love like the color symbolism and the way that it just feels so like old Hollywood.
Alrighty. Favorite show to watch or binge?
Oh, no. Okay, you guys cannot judge me for this, okay?
No judgment.
I have to. I'll start with the one that you guys won't judge me for. I love The Chosen. Chosen is so good. I love
That's
to.
a good Christian answer.
It's so good. Well, also I love
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the actors in it are great. The one that
Right.
you guys
Good.
might judge me for is I love The Office too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
That's our
Michael
favorite.
Scott. It's awesome.
Brooke, I would say 98%, Chris, of the artists that we interview, they usually say The Office.
Hey,
So
It's
understandable.
a good amount.
Yeah, The
yeah.
Office for me is like a comfort show. I've been watching it for a while, and so just being able to cycle back through the episodes is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a favorite artist of all time? Musical
Ooh.
artist.
Oh goodness. Okay. This is really hard because I have 4 favorites. Can I say my 4 favorites and then I'll give you the leading one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I love T-Mac. I love me some Toby Mac. He has been, number 1 from day one. He's been able to make music to accommodate so many different generations of listeners. So I really respect that. I also think that, he's gone through a lot, and the way that he's been able to kind of use that to connect with more people has been really awesome. So he's cool. I love I love Josiah Queen. I know he's newer and a little smaller, but he's so fun, and his even in his songs you can tell that he is absolutely passionate about Christ. So he's really cool. I love Torrin Wells. Being able to meet him was really awesome, but I've been a big fan of him because now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Torrin Wells is like the Christian Michael Jackson and Bruno Mars,
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
100%.
right,
Yeah.
like style. His voice is incredible. He has just amazing artistry, and I think that he's really cool. And
I
then
wonder if he could do the lean thing like Michael Jackson did.
I'm sure he could.
Yeah.
He's got moves big time. But I also really love Forrest Frank. He is a huge inspiration for my music. Obviously I love like beachy things and shells. Oh my goodness, I love shells. And so listening to his stuff, being like, he has like the tin pan, how people can play that. You'll hear it like in tropical places. He has that hidden in so many of his songs, and I think that's why I love his music so much. Because I grew up listening to like, at like the zoo or something like that, they'd be playing music that was like that. But my number 1 of all time, I'm gonna have to say Toby Mac, just because he's been with me from day one. So yeah.
Do you have a dream collab?
Dream collab? Ooh. I think that I would actually really love to collab with I have more than just one too. Definitely Big Daddy Weave. They've been really great. I love their song. It's one of their new ones, Let It Begin. Ooh, that one hits me every single time. So I love them. Mercy Me, I think, is great. And I love singing to their songs. My vocal range is very similar to the lead singer Bart Millard's. So I think we could do a song together. And then obviously Forrest Frank, because we have the same style. So yeah.
Now, so Big Daddy Weave, I have a good story to tell you real quick. So after Mike lost his brother a few years ago, we were at Rock the Universe in Orlando in Universal, and it was their first show without him. and it was freezing that night. Corey Asbury just performed, and then Big Daddy Weave came out. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and freezing in Florida. It was like in the 30s, so it was cold in January. And Mike came out there, and he sang like 3 or 4 songs, but you could tell it was all over him. He was just, he was trying to push, and so he stopped at they played their last, or like their third or fourth song, and then he stopped, and he just like, all right, we got to talk. And he started choking up, and people were just like, clapping and cheering, like, come on, you can, we're praying for you, Mike. And he just started being so vulnerable, and then started talking about his brother, and how he passed away, and he just started breaking down on stage. And he was just talking about the goodness of the God, and despite all this, he's like, my brother would want us worshiping tonight. My brother would want us to be lifting the name of Jesus tonight. And my brother would want people to be set free and saved, and when they leave this show tonight. And it was just so awesome to see God work in the midst of that tragedy. And I just grew a big respect. I mean, I've always loved them, but even greater after that night, and just hearing his heart. And that's why we do, I'm on a little soapbox for a moment, but that's why we do our podcast, is to get behind why the artists do what they do. Yes, you get to perform, you get to sing, get to do all these fun things, but why are you doing this? And so it was refreshing to hear him be so vulnerable and just so open, and so I'll never forget that night. But anyway.
That's so awesome. It's been such a blessing being able to get to know him a little bit better through everything. And even being at CMB, I got to hang out with him for a little bit. And, all the other artists, they like rush out. As soon as they're done, they have places to be, they have interviews, But he was like, I'm going to be sitting on the couch for a little while. So if you want to just hang out and talk with me. And I kid you not, he sat on that couch for 4 hours talking with just different people, praying over them, crying, having all these different amazing experiences. And it was so cool because I, talked to him, and he was just so real, and he was so honest, and it was really, really touching. And so that's why I think it would be so cool to do a song with him, because he gets it. He gets, that we were made for such a time as this.
Yeah.
All right. Matt, do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
A favorite ice cream flavor? Yes, I do. Cookie dough, hands down.
Okay,
cookie dough.
Just cookie dough or chocolate chip cookie dough?
I guess I don't really know. The cookie dough that I get just has these huge chunks of cookie dough in it, and they have chocolate chips in the cookie dough.
Okay.
But, yeah, I like it like that. I also like cookies and cream, but that's a close second.
Yeah.
What's funny is many years I always would eat raw cookie dough, and by gosh, like the last 2 years I've noticed Pillsbury and all them are coming out with cookie dough, and it says it's safe to eat raw, and I'm like, shh, I've been doing this for years. Come on now.
No, that's one of my favorites. I love it. Cookie dough is so addicting, but I have seen that they've made some that are like safe to eat, and I'm like, I've been eating it for a while.
Yeah.
Last one. What is your do you have a favorite podcast?
My favorite podcast? This is I don't want to necessarily say I have a favorite podcast, but I love listening to Torrin Wells' sermons. And so those will kind of repopulate a lot of Sundays and stuff. I love listening to those.
Yeah. Now you have a favorite one too. So
yes, this one right here.
Yeah. That's good.
All right. Well, you have passed the favorite things. There was. All right. So, Brooke, I literally just spaced on what I was
you did.
gonna say.
What happens?
But that's what happens when you have a newborn. You don't think.
Oh, congratulations!
No, thanks.
It's their 8th kid.
Nah.
Wow.
No. No.
So how many kids do you
have? 3.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Hey, more the merrier, though. More
yes.
for Christ.
Oh yeah. No, we are. We have there's 5 of us total of us, like brothers and sisters. So we came from a big family. So it's like it's at this point, it's whatever.
Yeah, my mom came from a big family too, so I get it.
Yeah. So, Brooke, what is next for you, and how can our viewers and listeners keep up with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a couple live performances. Like I said, the one where I'm opening for the Afters in West Liberty, Ohio. It's going to be such an awesome night. I cannot wait because I'm opening. Same with Rekindle from Cedarville. And then also the Afters are playing after us. That's awesome. They're playing after us. Cool. And then my next song is called Zion. This one is kind of like a war cry. It's a little bit Brandon Lakey. It's kind of, I don't want to say rock because rock is a hard word, but it's a little
Right.
rocky. It kind of touches on some topics that are really needed, I think, for today. There's people that I'll know that I've grown up with or that are in college with me, and they'll say that they're living life one way, and they'll present it to professors and parents and people that maybe they are living a life that's honoring God, but underneath it they're also living this kind of double life where they're doing things they shouldn't be, and they're encouraging people to do those things with them, and they're making people feel bad when they're not being a part of that. And so this song is kind of a call to action. It's like, hey, pick up your swords and fight. We need to be fighting these sorts of things. We need to be rebuking the enemy, and we need to be fleeing away from any sinful actions. This is war we're in right now. These times are so important to be so focused on God. So there's no time to be playing around with anything. There's no you don't get a second chance. You should be living your life every single day giving glory to God. So that's what my new song is about. It's going to be in English and Spanish. It's called Zion. And yeah, we're in the works with that. We don't have the exact date of when that's going to be coming out yet, but I'll probably be posting teasers for that soon.
Nice.
So yeah, that one's going to be a lot of fun. And then yeah, just continuing to make music. My socials, you can find me almost everywhere, with Brook Abella. That's what I am on, Spotify and TikTok and all that, and Brook Abella Official on Instagram, Brook Abella Music on Facebook. But yeah, just keep watching out because I got some fun things. I really like to do Christian TikToks too. I think they're really fun to just do these funny little, biblical inspired things, because I feel like TikTok can be a place that can foster evil, but it can also be a place that can foster good. And so might as well be watching the Christian TikToks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap up, we'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God's been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and our listeners' faith.
Yeah, absolutely. So God's really been working in my life, and I think there's a couple things, but something I really like to say is I think each and every one of us are kind of like a field. And you probably hear this a lot. You'll see people be like, oh, we're a field, we can do this and that. But I like to say we're a field in a biblical sense, because we can produce good fruit or good crops, or we can produce bad fruit, bad crops, if we're, sowing our soil with the wrong things. We need to be sowing our soil with the right things, with Christian music, with Christian podcasts, with the things that are uplifting and giving glory to God. We need to be tilling our soil and watering it and giving it, the good news, and being able to spread that with people means having it right in your heart, in the soil first. So I think that each and every one of us is like a field that can grow good crops. And, there's going to be seasons. There's going to be seasons of plenty and, where the crops are bountiful and it's beautiful and life is great. And you're like, wow, God, you're really moving in my life. There's going to be seasons of harvest where, it's time for something new, when it's time to have change. And it might be uncomfortable, it might be hard, and it's going to take a while because you have to have that regrowth. So that's something that's important. But something I like to think about is that rain is coming, even in those seasons of harvest, even in those hard times, even, when you're like, God, what are you doing in my life? I can't see the end. Rain is coming. God is working in your life. There's been so many times in my life that I like to say my God's the God of a loop around, because something will happen way back here. And then years later, I'll see why that happened. In this moment, I was upset about it. I was like, hey, I feel like, this was disrespectful, or this was mean, or they did me wrong and I didn't react. So I should have something that, goes well in my favor. God's like, oh, just wait, child, just you wait. Because then years later, he brings something even better around, or something that's I couldn't have even thought about. And he just works it right around. That's happened so many times in my life. So remember that God's the God of a loop around. And then also just remember to be active in your faith. We can't be dormant. We can't, be sitting around for somebody else to make some waves, to make some commotion. We have to be the ones who are stepping out in faith and who are pioneering, who are saying, hey, I would like to turn my life over to Jesus. I'm giving him all control, and I'm going to be actively pursuing a life that is glorifying him every single day. It's getting up and it's reading your Bible, and it's thinking. It's not just passively going through like, oh, yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I love Jesus. Yeah, I'll go to church. No, it's thinking about the words that you're singing. It's being able to use them in your life and feeling them in your heart, and then sharing that with others in a way that's not discouraging, that's not tearing them down if they've done something wrong. It's building them up, and it's showing them how God can help them in their circumstance, and just really being there for them. So being an active Christian is something I'm all for. I love encouraging others to, not be afraid to step out in their faith, because yeah, people are crazy, but you got to be crazy on fire for Jesus anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Brooke, your new single "Well Done" is out now. Download it, stream it. Appreciate you so much, and looking forward to what God has in store for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was nice talking with you guys today.
Yeah, you too.